The war had been devastating, leaving Earth a barren wasteland. The hegemony, a coalition of powerful alien races, had waged a merciless campaign against humanity. The final battle had seen the destruction of Earth's defenses and the apparent extinction of its people. Across the galaxy, the news spread. The humans were no more. But in reality, a small fleet of human ships had managed to escape the carnage. Under the leadership of Admiral Nathaniel Jackson, these survivors had embarked on a perilous journey to find a new home. They traveled through uncharted regions of space, evading hegemony patrols and relying on their ingenuity and resilience to survive. Eventually, they discovered an isolated star system on the fringe of explored space. The system, shrouded in dense nebulae and radiation fields, was an ideal hiding place. Here, they found a habitable planet, which they named Elysium. Using advanced cloaking technology and the remnants of their fleet, the humans established a hidden colony. For centuries, they remained undetected, rebuilding their society in secret. The people of Elysium were descendants of the original survivors, raised with stories of Earth and the promise of one day reclaiming their place in the galaxy. They dedicated themselves to advancing their technology, honing their skills, and preparing for the day when they would reveal themselves to the galaxy once more. The colony was a marvel of engineering. Massive reactors provided power, while hydroponic farms and water recycling systems ensured self-sufficiency. Advanced AI systems managed daily operations, allowing the people of Elysium to focus on their training and research. The central hub of the colony, known as the Nexus, was a bustling hive of activity, where scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to develop new technologies. Among these technologies were the stealth ships, sleek and deadly vessels designed to strike from the shadows. These ships, equipped with the latest in cloaking and propulsion systems, were humanity's key to staying hidden and gathering intelligence. Pilots like Lieutenant Mira Chen trained relentlessly, mastering the art of covert operations and preparing for the inevitable conflict. In the depths of the Nexus, the Council of Elysium met regularly to discuss strategy. Admiral Jackson presided over the meetings with a stern but fair demeanor. His advisors included Commander Ria Takahashi, a brilliant tactician, Dr. Elias Voss, the chief scientist, and Governor Lyra Vallon, who represented the civilian population. Together, they navigated the complex challenges of survival and preparation. Despite the colony's relative peace, tension simmered beneath the surface. The younger generation, eager to take action, often clashed with the older, more cautious members of the council. Mira Chen, a rising star among the pilots, was vocal about her desire to strike against the hegemony. She argued that humanity had hidden for too long and that the time for action was now. Admiral Jackson, though sympathetic to their impatience, insisted on patience and prudence. He knew that a premature strike could spell disaster for their fragile society. Instead, he emphasized the importance of gathering intelligence and building alliances. The Council's scouts, equipped with advanced stealth technology, ventured into hegemony-controlled space to gather vital information. It was during one of these missions that Lieutenant Chen and her team discovered the ancient alien outpost. Hidden within a desolate asteroid field, the outpost contained artifacts and data, suggesting a deep-seated conspiracy within the hegemony. The information hinted at internal strife and discontent among the hegemony's member species, a potential weakness that could be exploited. As the Shadowhawk neared the outpost, Mira marveled at its design. The structure was ancient, covered in strange glyphs and surrounded by debris from long-forgotten battles. With precision, she maneuvered the ship into a docking bay, its systems coming to life as they detected a presence for the first time in millennia. Inside, the team split up, each member heading to designated areas to begin their work. Dr. Elias Voss, a leading expert in xenolinguistics, immediately started scanning the glyphs, his portable AI assisting in translation. Engineer Ravi Patel began analyzing the outpost's power systems, hoping to reactivate the central computer. Hours passed as they worked in tense silence, the only sounds the hum of their equipment, and the occasional whisper of awe at the ancient technology. Suddenly, Voss's eyes lit up as the glyphs on his screen began to make sense. "Over here," he called, drawing the team together. "I've found something." Voss explained that the glyphs detailed a vast conspiracy within the hegemony. It spoke of dissent among the member species, particularly the Sarek, who had been subjugated and forced into servitude. The text also hinted at a resistance movement growing in the shadows, longing for freedom and an end to the hegemony's tyranny. Mira's mind raced with the implications. The resistance could be powerful allies in humanity's struggle. She quickly relayed the information back to Elysium, where the council debated the next steps. They decided to reach out to the Sarek resistance, initiating a risky but potentially game-changing mission. A few weeks later, the Shadowhawk, now loaded with supplies and diplomatic envoys, embarked on a journey deep into hegemony space. The coordinates they had deciphered from the outpost led them to a remote planet, Valter III, where the Sarek were rumored to have a hidden base. Upon arrival, the humans faced immediate hostility. Sarek fighters, sleek and agile, swarmed the Shadowhawk. Mira broadcast a message of peace, explaining their intentions and the shared goal of overthrowing the hegemony. It was a tense standoff until a voice crackled over the comms, ordering the Sarek fighters to stand down. The Shadowhawk landed on a desolate plateau, and Mira, along with her diplomatic team, exited the ship to meet their counterparts. Talon, the leader of the Sarek resistance, was an imposing figure, with feathers of iridescent blue and eyes that shone with fierce intelligence. His skepticism was palpable, but curiosity and a shared hatred for the hegemony kept him listening. Mira spoke passionately about humanity's history, their hidden sanctuary, and the desire to ally with the Sarek. She presented the intelligence they had gathered, showing the common ground between their peoples. Talon listened intently, his sharp eyes assessing every word. The night of the operation, the atmosphere was electric with anticipation. Human and Sarek fighters moved in unison, their ships cloaked and silent. The approach to Draenos was nerve-wracking, every moment fraught with the risk of detection. But their advanced technology and careful planning paid off. They reached the depot undetected. The attack was swift and brutal. Mira led the ground assault, her team moving with military precision, disabling defenses and neutralizing guards. Talon and his aerial units provided cover, their agility and speed overwhelming the hegemony forces. Explosions rocked the depot as key facilities were destroyed, and within minutes the mission was accomplished. The raid on Draenos was a resounding success, and the news spread quickly through the resistance networks. It was a powerful message. The hegemony was not invincible, and humanity was back in the fight. The victory bolstered the alliance, attracting more species and resistance cells to their cause. In the following months, the humans and Sarek conducted a series of coordinated strikes against the hegemony. Each mission was a calculated effort to weaken their enemy and inspire more uprisings. As their successes mounted, so did the risks. The hegemony began to take notice, deploying more resources to hunt down the insurgents. Despite the dangers, the alliance grew stronger. Mira and Talon developed a deep respect for each other, their shared vision and determination forging a powerful bond. They learned from each other, blending their tactics and cultures into a cohesive fighting force. The Sarek marveled at humanity's technological prowess and tenacity, while the humans admired the Sarek's resilience and ingenuity. During this period, the Alliance uncovered more secrets about the hegemony. They discovered hidden weaknesses in their command structure, and evidence of corruption and infighting among the higher ranks. This information was crucial, allowing the resistance to strike with precision and destabilize the hegemony from within. One of the most significant breakthroughs came when they intercepted a communication between two high-ranking hegemony officials. The message revealed plans for a major offensive against a rebellious planet, intended to crush the growing resistance. Mira and Talon realized that this offensive could be turned into an opportunity. If they could rally enough forces, they might deliver a decisive blow to the hegemony's power. The preparation for this counteroffensive was intense. Mira coordinated with Admiral Jackson and the Council of Elysium, while Talon mobilized the various resistance groups. They knew the stakes were high, and failure could mean the end of their alliance. But they also knew that this was their best chance to change the course of the war. As the day of the battle approached, the Allied forces gathered in a hidden system near the target planet. The fleet, composed of human stealth ships and Sarek fighters, was an impressive sight. They had come a long way from their first tentative steps together, and now they stood ready to challenge the hegemony head-on. The battle that followed was epic in scale. The Allied fleet launched a surprise attack just as the hegemony forces began their offensive. Chaos erupted as ships clashed in the void, and ground forces engaged in brutal combat. Mira and Talon fought side by side, their leadership inspiring their troops to push harder and fight smarter. Against all odds, the Allied forces emerged victorious. The hegemony's offensive was shattered, and their morale took a significant hit. The victory was a turning point, galvanizing the resistance and proving that the hegemony could be defeated. The resistance movements on various planets were reinvigorated. The Sarek, now emboldened by their success, intensified their efforts to recruit more allies. Talon, with his charisma and fiery speeches, traveled from system to system, rallying the downtrodden and inspiring them to rise against their oppressors. His message was clear: unity was their strength, and the time to fight was now. On Elysium, the mood was one of cautious optimism. The Council, led by Admiral Jackson, recognized the importance of capitalizing on this momentum. They launched a series of coordinated propaganda efforts, sending encrypted messages and broadcasts to planets under hegemony control. These messages highlighted the recent victories and the growing strength of the resistance, urging others to join the fight. In the shadowy corners of the galaxy, resistance cells that had been lying low began to emerge. On the industrial planet of Targoth, a group of enslaved workers revolted, sabotaging key facilities and causing widespread chaos. On the aquatic world of Serenia, the native Cyrenian resistance launched guerrilla attacks on hegemony supply lines. Each act of defiance, no matter how small, added to the rising storm. However, not all was smooth sailing for the Alliance. The hegemony, now aware of the growing threat, began to tighten its grip. They deployed more troops to critical systems and cracked down on dissent with brutal efficiency. Surveillance was increased, and suspected rebels were hunted down mercilessly. The cost of resistance was high, and many paid with their lives. Back on Elysium, the Council faced internal strife as well. The younger members, including Mira Chen, pushed for more aggressive actions, believing that striking while the iron was hot was their best chance. The older, more cautious members, led by Governor Lyra Valen, argued for a more measured approach, warning that reckless moves could lead to disaster. Tensions came to a head during a heated council meeting. Mira, fueled by the success of the recent victories and the urgency of the moment, clashed with Valen, who insisted on protecting their hard-won secrecy. Admiral Jackson, mediating between the two factions, called for unity and reminded them of their shared goal: the ultimate defeat of the hegemony. Amidst these debates, new intelligence arrived from their Sarek allies. Talon had uncovered a critical weakness in the hegemony's infrastructure, a central hub known as the Nexus Point, where all major communications and logistical data were routed. If they could disable or take control of this hub, it would deal a severe blow to the hegemony's coordination and supply chains. Thorne's latest betrayal was particularly devastating. He provided the hegemony with the details of the planned assault on the Nexus Point. The hegemony, eager to crush the burgeoning rebellion, set a trap. As Mira and her team moved into position, the hegemony forces lay in wait, prepared to spring their deadly ambush. The mission began smoothly, with Mira's team infiltrating the Nexus Point under the cover of darkness. They moved with practiced efficiency, disabling security systems and planting explosives. But just as they reached the central control room, alarms blared, and heavily armed hegemony soldiers poured in from all sides. Caught off guard, the team fought valiantly, but found themselves overwhelmed by the sheer number of enemies. Mira, realizing they had been betrayed, ordered a tactical retreat. With heavy casualties and the mission in ruins, the team barely managed to escape. The betrayal was a harsh reminder of the ever-present danger and the high stakes of their struggle. Back on Elysium, the mood was somber as the survivors recounted their harrowing experience. The council convened in an emergency session, the failure weighing heavily on them. Trust was shattered, and suspicion ran rampant as they sought to uncover the traitor in their midst. Admiral Jackson, furious but determined, initiated a thorough investigation. With the help of the colony's best analysts and security experts, they sifted through mountains of data and conducted intense interrogations. The process was grueling, but eventually they uncovered the truth. Marcus Thorne's treachery was exposed. Thorne, now in custody, revealed his motives under intense questioning. The council was left to grapple with the implications of his betrayal. They realized that security needed to be tighter and loyalty could not be assumed. The incident underscored the importance of vigilance and the high cost of complacency. Despite the setback, the alliance pressed on. They could not afford to lose momentum. Admiral Jackson and Mira Chen worked tirelessly to rebuild trust and morale within the ranks. They redoubled their efforts to gather intelligence, ensuring that future operations would be more secure and better planned. The betrayal had a silver lining, however. It forced the alliance to tighten their operations and strengthen their internal security. It also highlighted the resilience and determination of their fighters. Mira, though scarred by the experience, emerged even more resolute, her leadership earning her the unwavering loyalty of those she commanded. The alliance, reeling from the betrayal but undeterred, turned their focus to a bold, new plan, Operation Phoenix. The goal was nothing less than a direct strike at the heart of the hegemony's power, their capital world, Dracarys. If successful, this operation could destabilize the entire hegemony and create a power vacuum that the Alliance could exploit. Admiral Jackson and his team spent weeks meticulously planning the operation. They knew they would need to leverage every advantage they had, from their advanced stealth technology to their intimate knowledge of hegemony tactics. The plan involved a multi-pronged assault. While the main fleet engaged hegemony defenses, a covert strike team led by Lieutenant Mira Chen would infiltrate the planet's central command hub and disable its control systems. The Alliance fleet, a diverse collection of human and Cyric ships, gathered in a hidden system near Dracarys. The atmosphere was tense, but charged with determination. Pilots ran final checks on their fighters, engineers made last-minute adjustments to their ships, and soldiers steeled themselves for the battle ahead. Mira briefed her strike team, emphasizing the importance of their mission and the need for absolute precision. As the fleet moved into position, cloaked by advanced stealth fields, the tension was palpable. Admiral Jackson, aboard the flagship Valor, gave the order to commence the operation. The fleet surged forward, their presence masked until the last possible moment. When they finally decloaked, the hegemony defenses were caught off guard, scrambling to respond to the sudden assault. The initial moments of the battle were chaotic. Alliance ships weaved through enemy fire, their superior maneuverability and stealth capabilities giving them an edge. The hegemony's defense fleet, though numerous, struggled to coordinate an effective counterattack. Admiral Jackson directed the fleet with precision, capitalizing on the confusion to press the attack. On the ground, Mira and her strike team landed on Dracarys under cover of the aerial assault. They moved quickly through the cityscape, using a network of underground tunnels and service routes to avoid detection. The city's architecture was a blend of imposing towers and sprawling complexes, a testament to the hegemony's power and control. As they approached the central command hub, Mira's team encountered heavy resistance. Security drones and elite guards engaged them in fierce firefights. Mira led the charge, her tactical acumen and combat skills turning the tide in their favor. The team reached the command hub's control room, a vast chamber filled with holographic displays and control terminals. Mira's tech specialist, Lena, hacked into the systems while the rest of the team held off the reinforcements. Lena's fingers flew over the console, disabling security protocols and initiating a cascade of system failures. The hub's command structure began to crumble, sending ripples of chaos through the hegemony's forces. Outside, the Alliance fleet continued to hammer the hegemony defenses. Admiral Jackson coordinated strikes on key installations, crippling the planet's ability to mount an organized defense. The skies above Dracarys were a maelstrom of energy blasts and explosions, the battle teetering on a knife's edge. At the heart of the command hub, Lena succeeded in her task. The central systems crashed, causing widespread disruptions in the hegemony's military coordination. Communication networks went dark, and defense grids faltered. The Alliance fleet, seizing the opportunity, intensified their assault, targeting the now vulnerable command structures. With the command hub in disarray, Mira gave the order to exfiltrate. Her team fought their way back through the chaos, narrowly escaping as the hub's self-destruct sequence activated. They reached their extraction point just as the hub exploded, a massive fireball lighting up the night sky of Dracarys. Above, Admiral Jackson saw the explosion and knew it was the signal they had been waiting for. He ordered the fleet to launch a final, all-out assault on the remaining hegemony forces. The Alliance ships surged forward with renewed vigor, overwhelming the disorganized defenders. In the midst of the battle, Admiral Jackson's flagship Valor engaged the hegemony's command ship, the dreadnought Invictus. The two Titanic vessels exchanged devastating broadsides, each hit sending shockwaves through the fleet. The duel between the two flagships was a spectacle of fire and fury, each maneuver and countermaneuver a testament to the skill and bravery of their crews. Inside the Valor, Admiral Jackson maintained a calm and calculated demeanor, directing his crew with precision. The ship's advanced shields and weaponry gave them a slight edge, but the Invictus was a formidable opponent. The battle raged on, both ships sustaining heavy damage. Meanwhile, Mira's strike team rejoined the ground forces, assisting in the mop-up operations and securing key locations across Dracarys. The Alliance forces, buoyed by their successes, began to push the hegemony troops back, capturing strategic points and freeing imprisoned resistance fighters. As the tide of battle turned decisively in favor of the Alliance, the hegemony forces began to retreat. The remaining ships attempted to flee, but the Alliance fleet pursued them relentlessly, cutting off their escape routes and forcing them to surrender. The fall of Dracarys marked a turning point in the war, a monumental victory that would inspire resistance movements across the galaxy. Admiral Jackson and his leadership team on Elysium took advantage of this pivotal moment. With the hegemony's central command structure in disarray, they launched a series of targeted strikes against key hegemony installations and supply lines. Each victory further weakened their enemy and bolstered the resolve of their allies. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Mira Chen's exploits on Dracarys had made her a symbol of resistance. Her tactical brilliance and bravery inspired countless others to join the fight. She was promoted to commander, tasked with leading more critical missions to maintain the momentum they had gained. The Alliance's success on Dracarys had also attracted the attention of other powerful groups within the galaxy. The Vaith, an enigmatic and technologically advanced species, reached out to the Alliance. Their leader, the ancient and wise High Seer Lanthal, offered assistance, seeing a unique opportunity to reshape the galaxy for the better. Lanthal proposed a coalition, pooling their resources and knowledge to create a formidable force against the hegemony. The Alliance welcomed the Vaith, their advanced technology and strategic insights proving invaluable. Together, they developed a comprehensive plan to systematically dismantle the hegemony's power base. One of the first major operations with the Vaith's assistance targeted a hegemony shipyard, responsible for producing their most advanced warships. The Alliance fleet, now augmented by Vaith warships with sophisticated cloaking devices and powerful energy weapons, launched a daring raid. The shipyard was destroyed, and the Alliance captured several prototype vessels, significantly boosting their own naval capabilities. The Alliance's relentless campaign against the hegemony culminated in a series of coordinated liberation efforts across multiple star systems. The goal was clear: to free as many planets as possible from hegemony control and to rally their inhabitants to the cause of freedom. One of the most ambitious operations targeted the fortress world of Vortis, a critical hub for hegemony logistics and troop deployments. Vortis was heavily fortified, and taking it would require a combined assault from both space and ground forces. Admiral Jackson and Commander Mira Chen led the operation, coordinating a multifaceted attack that would stretch the hegemony's defenses to their limits. The assault began with a massive orbital bombardment, the Alliance's warships hammering the planetary defenses and clearing the way for ground forces. Mira led the first wave of troops, her experience and leadership crucial in navigating the heavily defended terrain. The battle for Vortis was brutal, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. However, the Alliance's superior tactics and the unwavering determination of their fighters gradually turned the tide. In the skies above, Admiral Jackson directed the fleet with surgical precision. The hegemony's attempts to reinforce their positions were thwarted by the Alliance's agile and coordinated strikes. The Vaith's advanced ships played a pivotal role, their cloaking technology allowing them to launch surprise attacks that devastated enemy formations. As the battle raged on, the Alliance forces began to gain the upper hand. Key installations were captured, and the hegemony's command structure on Vortis began to collapse. Resistance fighters on the planet, inspired by the Alliance's audacious attack, rose up and joined the battle, further tipping the scales in favor of the liberators. After days of intense fighting, the fortress world of Vortis fell. The victory was a significant blow to the hegemony, cutting off a crucial supply and command hub. The liberation of Vortis sparked a cascade of rebellions and uprisings across the galaxy. Planet after planet shook off the yoke of hegemony rule, their inhabitants eager to join the fight for freedom. The Alliance's victories did more than just weaken the hegemony's grip on power. They also provided vital resources and safe havens for the growing resistance. Liberated planets contributed ships, supplies, and recruits to the Alliance's cause. The momentum was now firmly on the side of the Alliance, and the hegemony's ability to wage war was severely compromised. The liberated planets formed the core of the new Galactic Council, a nascent governing body designed to foster cooperation and prevent future tyrannies. Representatives from each liberated world, including humans, Sarik, Vaith, and other species, convened to discuss their shared vision for the galaxy. The Council's early meetings were charged with optimism and a shared determination to build a better future. Mira Chen, now a key military advisor to the Council, played a crucial role in these discussions. Her first-hand experience in battle and her understanding of the various cultures within the Alliance made her an invaluable bridge between the military and political spheres. Mira advocated for a balanced approach that emphasized both security and rebuilding efforts. One of the Council's first initiatives was to establish the Galactic Reconstruction Corps, a dedicated organization tasked with rebuilding infrastructure, providing humanitarian aid, and supporting the transition to self-governance on liberated planets. Engineers, medics, and volunteers from across the Alliance joined the Corps, bringing hope and practical assistance to war-torn regions. Meanwhile, the Alliance continued its military operations to root out the last vestiges of the hegemony. These efforts were critical to ensuring that no remnants of the old regime could regroup and pose a threat. Commanders like Mira led strike teams to dismantle hidden outposts, neutralize rogue factions, and secure strategic resources. On the diplomatic front, High Seer Lanthal worked tirelessly to forge new alliances and integrate the liberated species into the Galactic Council. His diplomatic acumen and the Vaith's advanced communication technologies facilitated smoother negotiations and the sharing of critical information. The Council's inclusive approach helped build trust and a sense of shared purpose among its diverse members. As the Alliance celebrated their progress, not all was peaceful. In the hidden corners of the galaxy, remnants of the hegemony continued to plot their return. These rogue factions, though fragmented, were still dangerous. They sought to exploit any weaknesses in the Alliance's newfound unity and sow discord among the liberated worlds. Commander Mira Chen was tasked with leading the counterinsurgency operations. Her team, composed of elite operatives from various species, embarked on missions to track down and eliminate these rogue elements. Intelligence from the Vaith and local resistance networks proved invaluable in locating hidden bases and uncovering plots. One particularly dangerous faction was led by General Krass, a ruthless hegemony officer who had refused to surrender. Krass had retreated to the dense jungles of the planet Zaroth, using the terrain to his advantage, and waging a guerrilla war against Alliance forces. His knowledge of hegemony tactics and his fanatical loyalty made him a formidable adversary. Mira and her team undertook a daring mission to capture Krass and dismantle his operation. They infiltrated Zaroth under the cover of darkness, navigating the perilous terrain and evading Krass's patrols. The mission was fraught with danger, as Krass had booby-trapped key areas and established fortified positions deep within the jungle. After days of intense skirmishes and strategic maneuvers, Mira's team managed to corner Krass in his command bunker. In a final, brutal confrontation, they overcame his guards and captured the general. Krass, defiant to the end, vowed that others would rise to continue his fight. His capture, however, marked a significant blow to the remaining hegemony loyalists and a major victory for the Alliance. The success of the operation on Zaroth boosted morale across the Alliance and reinforced the importance of vigilance. Mira's team continued their efforts, rooting out remaining rogue factions and ensuring that liberated worlds could transition to peace without fear of reprisals. In the meantime, the Galactic Reconstruction Corps made significant strides in rebuilding efforts. On planets like Targoth and Serenia, once devastated by war, new cities began to rise. Infrastructure projects provided jobs and revitalized economies, while educational programs helped young generations envision a future free from the shadow of the hegemony. The Galactic Council also worked to address long-standing grievances and ensure that all species had a voice in the new order. This inclusivity was crucial in preventing the rise of new conflicts and fostering a sense of shared destiny. As Mira and her team continued their missions, they uncovered troubling evidence of an even deeper conspiracy. Some of the captured hegemony officers hinted at secret projects and hidden technologies that could pose a threat to the Alliance. This revelation led to a series of high-stakes investigations and missions to uncover and neutralize these hidden dangers. The Galactic Council received intelligence about a gathering of the last hegemony loyalists on the icy, remote planet of Valkor. These remnants, under the leadership of a brutal warlord named Rethok, were rumored to be planning a massive counteroffensive. If left unchecked, Rethok's forces could disrupt the fragile peace the Alliance had worked so hard to achieve. Admiral Jackson, Commander Mira Chen, and High Seer Lanthal convened an emergency session of the Council. The stakes were clear. A decisive strike on Valkor could end the threat once and for all. The Council voted unanimously to approve Operation Terminus, a large-scale assault to eliminate the hegemony remnants and secure lasting peace. Preparations for the operation were intense. The Alliance mobilized its most advanced warships, battle-hardened troops, and elite special forces. The fleet, now the largest and most diverse in the galaxy's history, included ships from all member species, showcasing their unity and shared resolve. As the fleet approached Valkor, they encountered fierce resistance. Rethok's forces, aware of the impending attack, had fortified their positions and were ready for a fight to the death. The skies above Valkor became a chaotic battlefield, with Alliance ships engaging in dogfights against heavily armed hegemony fighters. Admiral Jackson, aboard the flagship Valor, directed the space battle with tactical brilliance. He coordinated strikes, managed fleet formations, and anticipated enemy maneuvers with unmatched skill. His leadership inspired the fleet, driving them to push through the enemy lines and clear a path for the ground assault. On the surface, the battle was equally intense. Commander Mira Chen led the ground forces, which included seasoned soldiers and resistance fighters from various species. The harsh, icy terrain of Valkor presented significant challenges, but the Alliance forces were well prepared. They moved with precision, using advanced technology and guerrilla tactics to outmaneuver Rethok's entrenched troops. The turning point came when Mira's team managed to breach the outer defenses of Rathak's command center. The battle was fierce, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. Mira fought at the forefront, her leadership and combat prowess inspiring her troops to fight with unparalleled determination. Inside the command center, Mira and her team faced Rathak himself. The warlord was a towering figure, a seasoned warrior with years of experience and a deep hatred for the Alliance. The ensuing battle was brutal, with Mira and Rathak clashing in a desperate fight for dominance. Mira, fueled by the memories of fallen comrades and the hope for a better future, finally overpowered Rathak, delivering a decisive blow that ended his reign of terror. With the hegemony finally vanquished, the galaxy entered a new era of peace and reconstruction. The Alliance, now a beacon of hope and unity, focused on rebuilding and ensuring that the horrors of the past would never be repeated. The Galactic Council, strengthened by their victory, took on the monumental task of governance and integration. They established the Galactic Union, a framework designed to promote cooperation, justice, and mutual respect among all member species. The Union's charter emphasized the principles of democracy, equality, and the protection of individual rights, setting the foundation for a just and prosperous future. Commander Mira Chen, hailed as a hero, continued to play a vital role in this new era. She was appointed as the head of the Galactic Defense Force, a unified military organization tasked with protecting the Union and maintaining peace. Mira's leadership and experience ensured that the force remained vigilant and ready to respond to any threats. The reconstruction efforts, spearheaded by the Galactic Reconstruction Corps, made significant progress. Cities were rebuilt, infrastructure was restored, and economies began to flourish. On planets like Targoth and Serenia, once devastated by war, new communities thrived, benefiting from the technological and cultural exchanges fostered by the Union. Education and cultural exchange programs became a cornerstone of the Union's efforts to build a cohesive and harmonious society. Schools and universities across the galaxy offered courses in interspecies diplomacy, history, and technology, fostering a new generation of leaders committed to the Union's ideals. Artists, scientists, and scholars traveled freely, sharing their knowledge and enriching the diverse cultures within the Union. High Seer Lanthal and other leaders focused on diplomatic initiatives to strengthen ties with non-member species and explore new frontiers. The Union's exploration programs aimed to chart unexplored regions of the galaxy, seeking out new civilizations and forging alliances based on mutual respect and cooperation. Despite the overall progress, the Union remained vigilant against potential threats. Rogue factions, pirates, and remnants of the hegemony still posed challenges. The Galactic Defense Force, under Mira's command, conducted regular patrols and missions to maintain security and ensure that peace was preserved. The Union also worked to address long-standing issues of inequality and injustice. Initiatives to support marginalized communities and promote social justice were implemented, ensuring that all species had an equal stake in the Union's future. These efforts helped to heal the wounds of the past and build a more inclusive and equitable society,